Turn on the TV. On Channel 6, a reporter depicts the recent story of a fire demolishing a family's home. Change the channel to PBS. A man's voice is heard narrating the story of a woman and child who survived the 1935 Dust Bowl. Change the channel again. On ABC Family, the movie Twister is on. The frame focuses on a hurling mass of wind as it destroys a family's home. Past and present, real and fictional, there will always be pain and destruction, and there will always be those in need. By studying the Salvation Army website, as well as personal interviews, I have gained a clearer perspective of this foundation's philosophy and accessibility. By contributing with services like the Salvation Army, large differences can be made towards those in need. I will prove this statement with the following 3 points. Firstly, no matter where you live or who is in your neighborhood, there will always be those in need. Secondly, Salvation Army is an outlet in which you can provide for the needs in your neighborhood and across the globe. And lastly, no matter the amount of time or money, a service can be made when collaborating with the Salvation Army. Firstly, I will discuss that on a global scale to your own backyard, there will always be those in need. On October 4th, 2016, a level 4 storm hit Haiti's shores. According to an article by the journalist Pam Wright, she dictates, the death toll rose to more than 1,000 following the devastation of Hurricane Matthew. And experts say 1.4 million civilians are in need of humanitarian help, according to the United Nations. In older but closer to home news, on August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina devastated the homes and lives of many in the southern United States. This impact was devastating, and as dictated in a report by History.com, hundreds of thousands of people in Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama were displaced from their homes, and experts estimate that Hurricane Katrina caused more than $100 billion in damage. Even closer to home, in Columbus, Ohio alone, according to the 2015 statistics made by the Coalition on the Homeless and Housing in Columbus, Ohio, 11,167 total people in Ohio were homeless. And lastly, maybe even in your own neighborhood, according to the Ohio Development Service Agencies, in their 2016 report, an estimated 1,786,000 people in Ohio were poor. That is 15.8% of persons for whom poverty statistics were determined. All these statistics are representatives of events that affect us all, but vary depending on their proximity to home. An ignorant perspective is that we as Ohioans can only change the statistics in our own state. What is true, however, is that a Salvation Army near you has helped in every one of these events. Salvation Army is an outlet in which you can provide services for those in need in your neighborhood and across the globe. Upon the first notion of Haiti's struggle, the Salvation Army forces joined together and found a need and to serve it. Because of the amount of damage done to the Haitians' home, the Salvation Army has opened up centers in Haiti for refugees to find shelter. The amount of assistance given in 2016 is not a recent occurrence. According to the Salvation Army website, the 2005 hurricane season spurred the Salvation Army's largest disaster relief response in the United States. From food to emotional care, the Salvation Army was diligent in its service. Fighting for the homeless, far away and close to home, the Salvation Army knows that most basic needs, such as food and shelter, must be met before any rehabilitation can occur. Because of this, Salvation Army-funded group homes are situated across the country, giving a place of security for those in need. For those fighting poverty, such amenities as furniture and clothing are often out of one's grasp. By collecting and distributing such needed materials, the Salvation Army fights for those below the poverty line. Though the foundation itself seems like a powerful force that magically resolves all of these issues, in actuality, this foundation is really made up of millions of people just like you. No matter the amount of time or money, a service can be made with the collaboration of the Salvation Army. A school partakes in a bake sale for fundraising. A few $1,000s are raised. Because of the Salvation Army standards, 100% of this amount is given to aid the survivors of Hurricane Matthew. A half dozen homes are rebuilt, and more than a half dozen lives are saved. Thousands of volunteers flooded southern United States' already devastated land. Many hands make light work as many people use their time and money to remove the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. A neighborhood commits to spending a day collecting cans for their Salvation Army food bank. 5,000 pounds of food is collected. Many homeless will be fed this winter. Instead of casting an old kitchen table to the curb to be collected, a woman uses the Salvation Army's collecting service. With very little effort, a family no longer has to eat on the ground. In conclusion, when contributing with services like the Salvation Army, with very little effort on one's part, big differences are made. This point is made true by the personal experience of John Sullivan, a Salvation Army volunteer of 20 years. John Sullivan has assisted with the Salvation Army's heart-to-heart ministries. In this, he has worked in a canteen, serving and feeding the homeless of Columbus, Ohio. He quotes that working in the Salvation Army is low commitment, and that you can do it as infrequently as once a quarter, and just a few hours out of your weekend. So, take this opportunity. Go on the Salvation Army website at www.salvationarmy.com and find a service that interests you. In all of these cases, it is not the establishment itself, it's not the establishment of Salvation Army that solves the issues, but it is the millions of people that contribute to it, working under its name. It is people like you, waiting and wanting to help but not knowing how. So take this opportunity. The Salvation Army has the connections and reputation to get there, and follow the Salvation Army's motto, doing the most good. You want to come up?